So you're welcome onto your mats. Well done for coming here and taking the time out to practice. This evening's practice is it's a practice to help you release and let go, and hopefully at the end we'll have time to have a Karuna practice, so a practice in self-compassion. And it's the meditation I'm hoping to use is adapted from a Dr. Kristen Neff, so it's a really nice practice in self-compassion. So we're going to start off seated in a sukhasana, an easy cross-legged position, or siddhasana like I'm in, with one shin in front of the other, with something underneath your bum, be that a folded blanket or cushion. And then reach behind and pull buttock flesh out so that you have a good seat and you feel anchored and rooted. And then sit up tall. Just gather your shoulder blades onto your back. And you can just bring the sides of your neck back a little bit. And begin with tuning into the breath. And I invite you to close your eyes. You don't have to if you don't want to. And you can just press palms face down here as we begin. Inhaling through the nose, allow the chest lift, breastbone lifts, belly rises. And then exhaling, emptying belly, chest, collarbones, softening. Holding at the top, or the bottom at least, and then inhaling again. Fill up the belly. Let the inner body fill with breath so it can support you from the inside out. Just allow the inner body brighten. And then exhaling nice and slow. So practice for a few moments on lengthening that breath. See if you can smoothen it out. So sometimes it takes several rounds, a little bit like adding a bit of WD-40 to the breath just to smoothen it out, particularly if you've been breathing quite shallowly or if there's anything going on. You may find the breath is hard to take a slow, deep breath. So be patient with yourself. Don't force anything. So if it doesn't feel comfortable for you right now, well, perhaps that's not what you need. So from the outset, just listening to the body and practicing the art of self-compassion. So some people find it more difficult than others to practice self-compassion. I know I do. And I find one of the easier ways to learn is to almost treat yourself as if you would a dear friend. Because sometimes it's easier to treat others with that caring, compassionate way than it is to ourselves. So I invite you now just to bring your awareness down to your heart center. Fill that with your breath, allow that expansiveness. Create a buoyancy as you breathe in. And that exhale as you draw back inwards. Let that be the support. Okay, and just checking in with yourself, perhaps greeting yourself on a first name basis. and perhaps giving yourself a little bit of reassurance. Everything's going to be okay. You're doing fine. And just notice the subtle shift in energy as you pay attention to yourself in as much as you would a very, very close friend. And then when you're ready, opening your eyes if they were closed. And we'll move into our first pose. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose. So let's just support ourselves in as much as we can through the practice. So for this one, I'm going to take 2 blocks and bolster as well. Bolster is optional, okay? So bend your knees and take the soles of your feet together there. And just taking the knees as wide as is comfortably uncomfortable in your body, okay? No forcing. So if you're up here, you're going to use your scaffolding up here on the backs of the thighs to hold you, okay? Otherwise, some of you may be a little bit more externally rotated in the hips, and down here might be quite comfortable too. And then I'd like you to take your bolster, if you have one, or a firm pillow, and just gently press the eyebrow center onto the top of the pillow, excuse me, and take a little clasp around the base. And just fold in there. If you don't have one of those guys, and you'd rather do without, go ahead and fold forward. You can round your upper back. And I'll just put on the timer for several minutes. And allow your leg bones get really heavy so that those supports beneath you really hold you up. You can feel them supporting you. And just tuning into your breath. If you enjoy Ujjayi breath, please continue your practice with that slight constriction in the back of the throat as you breathe in and out through the nose. And because this is a restorative class, you might think on letting the out breath be a little bit longer than the in breath. So perhaps a count of 4 for the inhale, hold at the top of the breath for 1, and an exhale for the count of 6. Hold at the bottom of the breath for 1, and so on. And your count is going to be different to everyone else's count. So that's just an example. You can have your eyes open or softly closed. But just allow the skin on your face to gently soften downwards towards the floor with gravity. Notice the skin around your eyes and any holding there. Allowing yourself just to let that go. Any holding around the jaw and the mouth area, softening. Breathing in and feeling the back body expanding on the inhale. Around the kidney area in particular. Exhaling and feeling that gentle corseting in around your middle. Softening the leg bones a little bit more. Releasing down to the earth. And in this first pose, just becoming aware of the activity of your mind, which I'm sure you probably are acutely aware of already. And see if you can perhaps just follow the breath instead of the thoughts that may be entering and leaving. And the more you begin to tune into the breath and the rhythm of the breath, the more those thoughts begin to fall away. And don't worry if you get completely sidetracked for a few moments. Just find yourself again, let your body relax completely, and just start again, focusing on the breath. Just another 3 rounds of breath here. And then just gently bringing yourself back up. Just pop your bolster to the side for a moment, we're going to need that again. Pop your blocks over to the side, gently bring those knees up together. And come into a cross-legged position if that's comfortable for you for a few moments. And if cross-legged position isn't good, come into thunderbolt pose, so a kneeling position. And we're working a little bit on the kidney meridian this evening, that energy of release and letting go. And a way of actually stimulating or regulating the kidney energy is by using sound. And we're going to use sound now. So we're just going to take a few rounds and see how that feels in your body, okay? And if you don't want to be making noise for whatever reason, perhaps you could do the breath, so make the sound without making the sound, okay? So just relaxing as you sit, and we're going to take a breath in, and on the exhale it's ha-hey, 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 ha-hey. So join in whenever you feel ready. Ha-hey, 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 ha-hey. Keep going. Ha-hey, 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 ha-hey. Another 5 rounds. Ha-hey, 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 ha-hey. And you'll notice that the energy from that sound and the forcing of the air is a very much a downward energy, and that's the energy of apana, or release in the body, and that actually stimulates the kidney meridians. So it's a very helpful technique we can use, if nothing else, to bring our attention to the need to help release and to regulate. Okay, so let's come into another pose here. We're going to come into Mittanasana, so I'm going to come sideways on so you can see me. I'm using my meditation cushion this evening as a great support under my backside, just to keep the hip bones a little bit higher. And I'm going to take the bolster behind the backs of my knees and extend the legs out. So you may not have a bolster, or you may have a folded blanket, or roll up the blanket, pop it under the backs of the knees there. So we're coming into this forward fold. And again, take the flesh out behind you there so that your sit bones spread very gently apart but root down into your seat. I'm going to take a block with me as well because we're going to come into a fold, and I want to feel myself supported, so I'm feeling my eyebrow center supported, and not everybody can fold that deeply. So come into a place where you can support yourself. You may want to take a couple of blocks, maybe stacked, or even a couple of pillows on top of your lap there to pop your head and support your head on. And if that really doesn't feel good to come far forward at all, that's okay too. So just take a fold and find somewhere that's relatively comfortable for you. Okay? So when you're ready, just find your pose. Tune into your breath. And practice effortlessness. Just relaxing your legs, let the toes roll out a little bit. After a few moments, if you want to adjust and come deeper into the pose, by all means do, but don't go so deep that it becomes effortful. Find that really restful place. And the more you tune into your ujjayi breath or your diaphragmatic breath, the more you begin to switch on the parasympathetic nervous system and find a place of healing in yourself. So just take this practice as a way of managing self-care and really minding yourself. Good, so just another minute to go here. See if you can perhaps expand into the back body around the kidney area as you inhale. Don't be afraid to move and adjust as you go into this pose. The body will begin to react in different ways. So find a degree of comfort for your body and support yourself. So 5 more rounds of breath here, steady and slow. And then inhale, bring yourself back up to a seat. You can just pop your blocks over to the side, pop your bolster over to the side. And at this point, I invite you to come over to the wall or whatever you have behind you to support you. And you're going to come right up close. And just sit yourself down on your folded blanket or meditation cushion, whatever you have handy. And for this one, we're just going to take a wide-legged straddle. Now there's a couple of options for this one depending on your body. So everybody's different. So the easy version is you take the legs wide apart there and keep a bend in the knees. Okay? And then you're going to just come into a fold. Again, I have my handy bolster. Everybody's got different things there. Find something. You know what's also very useful is a chair, the seat of a chair, because it's at the right height. So if you have one as well, you can just put a blanket on top of the seat and rest your head there. Okay, so for this one, I'm resting my head on my bolster again and relaxing the legs. Now, you may want to fold the legs a little bit more deeply, or straighten them out at least, and pop blocks or rolled blankets under each one for this. Okay? And again, come into a fold, whatever degree suits you. So find your straddle that works in your body. And it's, again, always useful just to roll the flesh on your rear end out behind you. Okay? And then find your fold. Again, coming back to the breath. Let your legs be heavy. Again, just perhaps on the exhale, focusing on that release downwards into the earth, so that energy of, can't see what I'm doing, the energy of apana or release on every exhale, releasing down all the time, so exhaling into the earth. The more you support yourself, the more you can release. So again, as you just drop into this pose, you may find your body wants to go deeper, or perhaps a niggling discomfort begins to arise, and just watch that. If that happens, watch it for a few moments, and if you need to move, then go ahead and support yourself in a different modification, modify, using whatever props you have to hand, in addition to pressing the escape button if you need to. So just another 3 rounds of breath here before we begin to come up. So just inhaling when you're ready, come on up. And we're going to move now. Luckily we have a wall, or perhaps you have a bed or a couch there beside you. We're going to go to Viparita Karuna, which is legs up the wall pose. So just moving your props apart from your bolster to the side. And then come in close to the wall. I recommend just sitting astride the wall there, okay? So that your hip is in nice and close, and in that way you can really keep your bum in as close as possible to the bottom of the wall and get the legs up high. Okay, so just coming down onto your back then, use your elbows as support, and then just climb those legs up the wall, making sure your bum stays in as close as possible until you have finally arrived, okay? And from here, you're going to use your bolster underneath your low back, your backside, by taking your feet down the wall with the knees bent. Then you can press into the wall and lift the pelvis up. Just taking the bolster then beneath your buttocks and your low back there to support yourself. So you should feel quite supported, quite secure. And then you can go ahead and extend the legs back up the wall. And I must just say to anybody doing this particular pose, if you've got any issues with blood pressure or glaucoma, for example, and this pose is not really suited, you might perhaps just come back into that cobbler's pose, or the Paschimottanasana is also the equivalent of this particular pose, but seated. And if you feel unwell when you're in an inversion, which can sometimes happen, I'd like you to just bend the knees and roll to your side and rest until you feel better, okay? Otherwise, just relax in here. You can take your arms out to the side. Make sure that your head isn't directly on the floor like mine. You can pop a blanket underneath it. And just take the next few minutes to rest. And you can feel the blood draining down the legs, rinsing through the adrenals. Okay, and feel it pooling in the belly area, so enhancing all the digestive processes here. So allow all your bones get really, really heavy. Let gravity do its work. Go ahead and soften your skin. And just enjoy that beautiful feeling of rest. Your whole body should feel very comfortable and supported enough so that you can really relax downwards. Great. That's actually 5 minutes already. I went by in a flash. I'd love to be able to stay here longer. So when you're ready, just bend your knees and you can roll down to your right side ideally. Oh, bend your knees. You've got to take that block out of the way. So lift the pelvis, remove the block or bolster, and roll to your right side. Just hang out on your right side for a few moments before you come up. I like to just take the bolster underneath me and just hang out here just for a few moments. Give your body a few moments to adjust. And then when you're ready, bring yourself up to a seat. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere yet. We're still working on effortlessness. We're just going to get ourselves into a different type of effortlessness. So take your bolster and lengthways onto your mat, and you can prop up with 1 or 2 blocks underneath the head end. Okay, make sure they're nice and secure. And then sitting facing away, bend your knees and take your feet hip distance apart. Okay, and then let the 2 knees fall over to the right side. Okay, have your seat right at the end of the bolster, and then turn towards your right, taking one hand on either side of the bolster. So you may need to push your hips over to the left a little bit so that you can get that twist, okay, depending on how the body is feeling, okay? So once you get there, just walk your way out over your bolster, turning to face towards the right initially. And depending on your body, some of you will be able to turn and face towards the opposite direction, towards which is now your right, easier than others. If that feels good in your body, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I would advise you just to keep facing in the same direction as the knees, and just you can feel the sole of the right foot pressing against the top of the left leg there. Good, and just almost like a little hug of your bolster. Just enjoy that twist. So a modified peace pose. And as you exhale, allow yourself just to be supported by that bolster. Let everything soften downwards. So if you feel after several rounds of breath that the body is freed up enough to take a twist a little deeper, you can turn and face towards the opposite direction, resting down. Okay, so from here we're just going to gently press up to a seat before we take it over to the second side. So gently press yourself up, breathing in, turning to face around towards the front, And then keeping the feet wide, just let the knees fall over to the left this time. With the hips, they'll come over towards the right. So turning, turning, turning towards the left. Take one hand on either side of the bolster. And then walk your hands out over it. And then coming to lie down. And if the leg position is bringing you into too deep a twist, you can go ahead and just stack one knee on top of the other. Alright? So feel free to readjust and modify, make the pose your own so that you can find a place of rest. Go ahead and take a deeper twist if that feels okay in your body. And then inhaling, just gently hook your hands back underneath your shoulders, press back up to a seat, turning back around. And find your other block, and I invite you just to pop it under the head end again, so you're bringing it up a little bit higher. Okay, so we're going to come into a reclined cobbler's pose for this one, and I've got two blankets here that I'm going to use to support behind the backs of my thighs. So you can use whatever you have to hand there. Just bring it to a place where you're relatively even. So I'm rolling them up. That's it. And then sitting right at the base of the bolster. Soles of the feet together. Okay. And then just reclining gently over my bolster, so that you feel supported there in the lumbar spine. Put the timer on, because this position is so comfortable you could nearly fall asleep. And you can take your arms down by your sides with an external rotation. You can feel the heart lifting as the shoulder blades gather onto the back there. And just taking the chin into a neutral position, make sure the head is completely supported and not falling off the far end of the bolster. And just rest up. Perhaps coming back to Ujjayi breath again. Maybe finding that longer exhale. And just allowing that energy of release move down through the body as you exhale. Just another minute left here, so enjoy it. Okay, so before you move, you can listen to your options. I'm going to bring you down and into a meditation of self-compassion and compassion for others. You can stay here if that's what you need right now. You stay here, or you can take a blanket, a couple of blankets underneath your knees and lie back with your legs outstretched for a supported fish. Or you can also come into Shavasana all the way down on your back on the floor if that feels right for you. But I'm going to take another pose. I'm going to come into a seated meditation pose. This is optional. It suits me because I'm going to be giving a Kapala meditation. So I'm going to sit myself up against the wall again because it's here on my meditation cushion. And I'm going to use a block to support my low back. So just taking the block widthways. So you're sitting nice and close to the wall. And you have it in there to support you as you sit in your meditation in either easy cross-legged position, or my favorite one is Siddhasana, one shin in front of the other. So you've got your options. Take a moment. Find a position that most suits you. Okay, and we'll begin. So you can either have your eyes closed for this one or a soft gaze into the middle distance. I recommend taking Shin Mudra just to help you keep your focus. So turning the palms of the hands to face up and touching the tip of the index to the tip of the thumbs on both sides. That's optional also. And then returning to your breath. Take a moment, inhaling fully, exhaling and softening. And I'd like you to bring to mind somebody who's close to you that you care about deeply. And this person sometimes drains your energy, or perhaps is currently draining your energy. And the amount of empathy that you have for them is draining your energy. Sometimes it's not the person, but how you are reacting to them. And just hold an image of them in your mind's eye, or a sense of them. And just think about how it feels to care for this person. Where in your physical body you feel it, where energetically you feel it, how it arrives in your body. And just tuning into your in-breath in particular. And if you can think of a word that might describe what you need to support yourself when you're caring for this person. And in absence of a suitable word, perhaps it's self-compassion. But if that doesn't work for you or ring true to you, think of another word that you might need. Perhaps support, strength, boundless love, whatever it is. As you breathe in, can you embody that word and allow yourself to feel yourself filling up with whatever that is. Just allowing yourself to fill up with whatever it is you need to support yourself. Breathing it in. And now turning your attention back to that person that you care about deeply. And perhaps you could think of a word that best describes what they need from you. And perhaps that is compassion. Perhaps they just need your strength, your time, your boundless love. Whatever that is, think about how that feels. And now I'm inviting you to focus on your out breath. And as you exhale, can you see if you can send that compassion, that love, that caring emotion out through the out breath to that person? Breathing out, sending that out. And then back to the in-breath. Feel yourself filling up with whatever it is you need to remain strong and resilient. And on the out-breath, sending out whatever it is that that person in your life needs from you. So it's one for me, one for you. And if it feels a little bit overwhelming, maybe it's two for me, one for you. It's important to try and support yourself first here. Good. And just feel your breath like a wave. Feel yourself floating upon your breath as if you were on the ocean. And this ocean is full of boundless love and compassion and strength and support. More than enough for you. More than enough for me. So coming to the end of this meditation and this beautiful practice of restorative yoga, just gathering your hands together at your heart space, bowing your head in there, and we'll release the practice with a long exhale through an open mouth. So inhaling, exhale fully. Then raising your gaze. Namaste. Thanks for practicing, everybody.